Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the Moon Sport U headlamp. With the advancements in lithium-ion and LED technology, headlamps can be both lightweight and bright enough to see with. The Moon Sport's U headlamp is a perfect example of this, as it offers dual lighting elements without the bulk of traditional battery-powered headlamps. Now, Moon Sport actually offers a few variations of this. We have the U, which stands for Unique Headlamp. They also have a mini version of this, a U Mini, and then a brighter U Pro version. Now, the U version shares the same design as the U Pro, except it doesn't have the red LEDs integrated into the spot lamp. So packaging-wise, pretty simple. You have a little preview of what's in there. There's a nice glossy graphic here that shows you an illustration of the lamp. And then you have all the specs written here with the catalog with a nice QR code. All the main elements here with the beam, IPX7 waterproofing, the weight, and then this nice window to see inside. Moon Sport also has this distinctive yellow and black color scheme, so it really pops. Go ahead and take it out of the box and we'll go over the specs. Retail price on the U headlamp is $59.99. That's a little bit cheaper than the $74.99 of the U Pro, and a little more expensive than the $44.99 of the Mini U. With this version, you have 350 lumens, so pretty impressive for a little headlamp, and the dual lighting element with an IPX7 water rating, so definitely highly rated for wet weather use. You have dual lights. You have the CREE LED, which is a white LED on the side, and then a flexible COB LED strip on the front. You have a Variable Lumen System, which is a cool feature that Moon Sport has that lets you actually adjust the lumen output by ramping it up and down and then letting go at the desired one. So really customizable. You also have what they called a sound alarm system, which actually beeps when it has a low battery level instead of just silently showing a color. And it's USB Type-C chargeable, so it has a very fast 2-hour charge time and has a very common USB Type-C port, so you don't have to search for an old micro USB port. In terms of what comes in the box, you can see we have the headlamp. We have a fabric bag. If I go ahead and open up the bag, you'll see I'll get the fabric strap that lets you install it on the back of the headlamp. And then you also have the USB Type-C charging cable. And what's really cool about this is that it's yellow. I haven't actually seen a colored USB-C charging cable before. Now let's take a look at the weight of the U headlamp. So I put the headlamp and then the fabric strap on here. Comes in at 78 grams, so quite light. Now let's go over the fit and finish of the Moon Sport U headlamp. Thanks to the use of a lithium-ion rechargeable battery, it's quite light. So compared to traditional bulky battery style, this has more output and is a lot lighter weight. Uses a silicone construction, so you can see nice and grippy and flexible as well. You have dual lighting elements. You have the COB LED strip on the front that provides a nice flood lamp, and then a spotlight on the side that's great for seeing the trail if you're running or if you wanted to see something in front of you in the dark. You also get the nylon strap, the fabric strap here. You can see nice and flexible. What you want to ensure is that you have this loop on here, and then to install it, it's quite simple. At first glance, it's a little bit difficult. How do they go together? The trick is to just put the one end sideways through, pull it through, and now you can see it locks into place. The other side, you'll see it has a little break in the middle. So you slide it in, pull the fabric through until it folds up and under. So once you have it through and flat, you can see, now you can pull it tight and then adjust the length of this to whatever adjustment you need. So pretty simple design overall, and it actually comes in quite a few modes. So the user interface includes 2 buttons here. On the bottom, you have the USB Type-C charging port for recharging it. You have the main spotlight and then the COB LED. This top part looks like it's reflective, and it actually looks lit up in the box, but it doesn't seem to light up when you're actually riding. It's just more of a reflective pattern to it, which looks kind of cool. Almost no branding on here, which is nice. You just have Moon Sport and then Moon Sport written here on the other side. To operate the light, when you first receive it, you'll see it just clicks. It doesn't actually turn on. This is the transport mode, so it can be a little confusing when you first get it. To disable that, you hold both buttons down for a couple of seconds, and that'll turn off that mode and allow the light to be used. So you hear the beep. So now it's fully functional. It has a 2-button interface and quite a few options. So if we turn it on, we press the power button, you can see you have 3 main modes. You have a solid COB LED, that's kind of your flood lamp. If you press the top button, it'll switch between the other mode, which is spot lamp, and the COB LED. And you can see this provides a lot more visibility while this is more of a flood lamp. You can press it again and then run just the spot mode. So this is great for running on dark trails or early morning. So you can actually see in front of you with 350 lumen in the maximum output mode, it's more than bright enough. And then to access the max mode, that's called boost. So you double click the power button and you'll see it'll go to the full 350 lumen. And this gives you full brightness on the spot and the COB LED. Double click again to turn that off. And then you can also vary the intensity. So between each mode, whether you're running spot, flood, or hybrid, you can actually option through different options. So high, low. If I go back to the COB LED mode and click, you can actually switch between a low and a high mode. There's also a flash mode, and this is a double press of the top button. So you can see you have 3 different flash modes. You have normal flash. Click the bottom one to cycle through. This is a steady flash, so great for nighttime. So you can see it just goes from low to high instead of on off. And then you actually have an SOS mode, which is great for emergencies or just a little extra visibility. And in any of these modes, if you double press the bottom, you can get the boost mode. So that's great if you encounter a dark trail or tunnel. You can hit that quickly, get some light, and then switch back to your previous mode. The other nice thing about this is that you have something called Variable Light System or Variable Lumen System. So if I go out of flash mode again, so if I hold the top button, it'll actually let me cycle through the modes, the power. So we'll go from max, flash when it hits the maximum, ramp all the way down, flash again when it reaches the min, and up and down. So whenever you let go, I can actually select that lumen. So it's a unique feature and it actually lets you customize it. And the ramp up time is slow enough that you can actually pick the one you want. So if you want something slightly brighter or slightly dimmer, you just press hold, wait, and then let go. So a unique feature you don't typically see. It does complicate the interface, and with 2 buttons, there's quite a bit going on here. But once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy to use. Now let's take a look at the output of the headlamp. As you can see, there are 3 different modes. You have the COB LED, the combination of spot and COB, or just the spot. And it's a pretty generous beam. So it's more than enough for working on cars, working in the garage, or just running. And they're quite distinct from each other, so they're easy to tell apart. Now on the road, this video doesn't do it real justice. It's very bright, especially in the full boost mode. So it's more than enough to ride on dark trails. And you get 10 total modes with it. You get the full boost, high-low, and then a high-low for each of the COB LED or the combination. And with the VLS setting, you can change them independently of each other, so you can change the run times and lumens per each mode. There are also 3 different flash modes: a normal flash, a steady flash, which is great for nighttime use, and an SOS for emergency, with run times that are very generous. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the U headlamp. What I like about it is it has a lot of modern features like the USB Type-C charging port. It also has that wide COB LED strip that ensures they're visible during the day or night. And with 350 lumens, it's more than bright enough for running or hiking use on dark trails, so a very versatile headlamp to have. The cons for the headlamp is the fact that you have a non-adjustable angle for the main spotlight. It would have been great to be able to tilt that up and down to really fine-tune the angle. And the interface is fairly complicated with 2 buttons and so many features, so there is a bit of a learning curve, and you do need to reference the manual, at least initially. And finally, the buttons lack tactile feel, so especially if you're wearing gloves, it can be hard to feel them apart just by touch. It would have been great if they were further apart or different sizes. Taking everything into account, we give the U headlamp a 9.0 out of 10. It's a really feature-filled headlamp that has a lot of power to back it up. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclist. This is the Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.